All right, question 3. Consider square MNPQ with diagonals intersecting at R as shown at the right. How many triangles are there in the diagram? Hint, there are more than 4. All right, if you guessed 8, you are correct. So we've got the 4 small triangles. So we've got the 4 like quarters. So QRM, MRN, NRP, and PRQ. And then we also have 4 bigger triangles that are half of the square. So we've got this top and left. We've got the left and right triangle, MQP. We've got the bottom and the right one, which is NQP. And we've got the top and the right, so MNP. We've got those 4 triangles, so 4 small ones and then 4 half ones. So how many lines of symmetry does MNPQ have? On your paper, trace MNPQ and indicate the location of each line of symmetry with a dashed line. Yep. So you don't have to trace this. I just want you to draw all the line of symmetry. So yes, it has 4 lines of symmetry. So make sure you draw them all. All right, so you can see my lines of symmetry. I drew them with a dashed line. So we've got the one that goes right up the middle, up and down the middle, left and right through the middle, and the 2 diagonals are also lines of symmetry. There are 4. And there are 8 triangles. I should write that down up there. So 8 triangles, 4 lines of symmetry. Write as many triangle congruent statements as you can involving triangles in this diagram. Be prepared to justify each congruent statement you write. So let's start with triangle MQR. Okay, so I'm looking at this little quarter one on the left side. So can we prove that that's congruent to any of the other ones? Okay. And let's start with, how about triangle MRN? So let's start with what we know. So we know that this is a 45-degree angle, and we know this is a 45-degree angle. We know this because that diagonal splits that in half, and if it's 90, half of 90 is 45. So in triangle MRN, we also know this is 45, and this is 45. So we know by angle that these 2 triangles are similar. So MQR would be similar to MRN. I'm sorry, MQR would be congruent to NMR. Okay. And remember, in order for it to be congruent, we know the triangles have to be similar, and there's got to be side lengths have a common ratio of 1, or we got to know a side length is congruent. So we've got angle similarity, because those are both 45 and those are both 45. And we know that side MN is congruent to MQ. And we know this because it's a square, and all sides of a square are all the same. So because those sides are congruent, we know those triangles are congruent. Which also means we've got this triangle over here that's going to be the same as that one. And also this bottom one is going to be the same. So let's see if we can set this one up. How would I write? So I've got MQR, NMR. How would I set up this next one? And then the one after that. So it would be triangle PNR and triangle QPR. And let's look at the big triangles. So let's start with triangle MQN. Can we say that that's congruent to any of the other ones? MQN. I think this is actually probably a little bit easier. So MQN is congruent to NMP. And since we're just about done with this one, I'm going to highlight this so it's a little bit easier. So MQN, we know that MN, that MQ part, has to be congruent to NM. Okay. And we know this because, once again, they're both sides of a square, and sides of a square are congruent. Okay, we know QN has to be corresponding with MP, since they're both diagonals of a triangle. And then the last one, we know that MN, so now this is going to get blue, has to be corresponding with NP. And hopefully those triangles aren't too confusing here. So we've got yellow, orange, blue. And we're going to pair that with yellow, orange, blue. So this triangle and that triangle. Kind of overlapping like the example beforehand. All right, next one. Can you name 2 more triangles that is congruent to? Make sure you set up corresponding sides correctly. So we get the 2 triangles PNQ and QPM, once again, if we match up corresponding sides. All right, if you found this to be easy, awesome, you're doing well. If you found this difficult, and you found it difficult because you don't know what you're doing, then just let me know, or go in to tutorial for some extra help. But if you found this difficult just because it was really hard to line up the sides, in the problems beforehand, we could highlight them. It was nice and easy. I could see the corresponding sides. In this square, there's a lot of sides that are overlapping. So if that was your issue, you just couldn't see the sides, then you're fine. You'll just through practice, you'll be a lot better. But if you're just completely lost, make sure you ask me for some extra help or go to tutorial. And we are done for the day. So right now you can start your homework if you finished the videos early.